How would you feel if you woke up one morning and you no longer existed? Everything you knew about yourself vanished overnight. Your accounts, your documents, even your name. This isn't just a story about identity theft. It's a race against an invisible enemy who's always one step ahead. Can you prove you are who you say you are when the whole world believes otherwise? To survive means not only saving yourself, but stopping those who can erase anyone. I understood something was wrong even before I opened my eyes. My phone vibrated so insistently, as if trying to break free from under the pillow. I grabbed it, without checking the screen, and pressed accept. Alex Wood? A woman's voice, cold as ice. Yes, I croaked, trying to gather my thoughts. What happened? This is First European Bank. Did you just confirm a password change on your account? Me? No, I was sleeping. I sat up, feeling anxiety coil in my stomach. We've already blocked the request. We strongly advise changing all your passwords immediately. Wait, I opened the bank app, just now. Incorrect login or password. I tried again, the same message. What the? I tapped forgot password, entered my email, account not found. Are you still there? The voice in the receiver turned colder. My account, it's gone. Are you sure it's not a glitch? Your data does not match our records, Mr. Wood. We cannot verify your identity. But that's me. My hands began to shake. I can come to a branch? You'll need to verify your identity with documents. I slammed down the phone before she could finish. I opened Facebook. Your account has been blocked. Telegram. Session ended. Google. Your account has been deleted by the owner's request. I checked my email. Dozens of messages about password changes, suspicious logins, confirmation of transactions I never made. The last message read, "Your Google account has been deleted." I sat on the bed fighting panic. This is a dream, I whispered. Just a dream. I grabbed my passport, opened the government portal, document invalid. My head started to ring. I dialed Jack. Jack, are you home? I need to talk. Now. What happened? His voice was sharp. Just come over, please. He appeared within a minute, wearing sweatpants and holding a cup of coffee. You look like you've been in a wreck, he said, sitting across from me. They erased me. I showed him my phone, laptop, passport. I don't exist. He silently reviewed everything, then looked up at me. This isn't just a hack. Someone is deliberately erasing your identity. But why? I'm nobody of importance. Maybe you know something without realizing it, or someone wants to use your name. I remembered the strange email I'd received a week ago. Your participation in the study is confirmed. I hadn't opened it, but maybe I did, accidentally. Maybe it's because of that email. I told Jack. Did you click any links? I don't remember. Maybe by mistake. Jack frowned. We need to go to the police and to cybersecurity experts. I nodded, but at that moment my phone buzzed again. An unknown number. I pressed accept. Alex Wood? A man's voice, muffled as if from a basement. Yes, who is this? You shouldn't have poked where you don't belong. Stop now, before it's too late. What? Who are you? You've already lost everything. Don't make us take more. The call abruptly ended. I looked at Jack. He went pale. This is not just a hack, he whispered. They're watching you. Panic swelled in my chest, but I forced myself to focus. We have to show this to Lisa. I snapped a photo of the screen on Jack's phone and sent it to her. The reply came almost instantly. Don't panic. Don't answer. I'll check where it came from. I tried to breathe evenly. Jack, if they know I've gone to the police, to Lisa, maybe they're watching us right now? Jack moved to the window, cautiously drew back the curtain. There's nothing suspicious outside. But you're right. We need to stay careful. My head started to pound. Could this be revenge? But for what? I didn't do anything. Jack sat back down, his face serious. Alex, are you absolutely sure there's nothing? Nothing from your past? Friends, exes, colleagues? I tried to remember. Faces flashed. An ex-girlfriend we'd split on bad terms. A teacher I'd accidentally implicated in an exam scandal. Even my father, with whom I hadn't spoken in years. But none seemed capable of this. I don't know, I finally said, but at that moment came 3 rhythmic knocks on the door. 1, 2, 3, like a signal. Jack and I exchanged looks. He motioned for silence and approached the door. "Alex," a woman stood outside. "Quietly," said Jack through the peephole. "Says she's police." My spine froze. "Open, just a crack," I gestured. Jack slowly cracked the door. A young female officer in plain clothes stood there, ID in hand. "Alex Wood, I need to speak with you. It's urgent." I stepped forward, and she entered without waiting, closing the door behind her. "You have 5 minutes to grab essentials. You are in danger." "What? Why?" "Your identity was used in a serious crime. If you want to survive, you must go now." I felt my brain shut down. Jack grabbed my shoulder, but I heard nothing. "Time's up. They know I'm here." I rushed to my backpack, grabbed passport, laptop, charger. Just then, a loud slam rattled the hallway door. The officer darted to the window, peered out, then returned. We exit via the service stairwell. No calls, no words. My hands shook, but I obeyed. She led Jack and me down the corridor to a dim service entrance. "Here," she whispered. We stepped into the courtyard. The officer scanned the area quickly, guided us to a parked black electric car. She opened the back door. Jack and I jumped in. She got in front, input a code, and the car glided away, silent. "Now, tell me," she finally said, eyes fixed on the road. "Who else knows about your identity issues?" "Just Jack," I swallowed, "and one friend, Lisa, a cybersecurity specialist." "Do you trust her?" "Yes," I nodded. "She's the only one who can help." "Good. Your phone, laptop, everything. Here." She extended a metallic pouch. "No more signals." I complied. Jack did the same. "Explain what's happening," they Heidel. Jack finally broke the silence. "Your friend is being targeted by very serious people." The officer spoke rapidly, calmly. "Your identity was used for money laundering and cyber attacks on major corporations. Now, you're the prime suspect in an international manhunt." "What?" I felt my legs weaken, even though I was sitting. "It's a mistake," Jack exploded. "Alex did nothing." "I know." She glanced at me in the rearview mirror. "But it doesn't matter. The system is working against you. If you don't vanish for a few days, you'll be arrested. Or—" She stopped. My blood ran cold. "Or what?" I whispered. "Or someone will make sure you can't speak." She didn't finish. The car swung down narrow streets. I tried to recall whether I'd seen this officer before, whether her ID was real, but my brain faltered. "Where are we going?" Jack asked. "To a safe house. There you can think, recall everything that matters, and most importantly, stay alive." The car halted beside an old warehouse on the outskirts. She led us inside through rusty doors, climbed a narrow staircase. We reached the second floor. Dark, dusty, the scent of metal. She flicked on a torch, guided us into a small room with 2 chairs and a table. "Sit." She bolted the door, pulled a small device from her pocket, swept the room. "No bugs," she said. "Now you can speak." My hands trembled. "Are we safe?" "For a few hours, yes. What happens next depends on you." She sat across from me, looking me in the eyes. "Alex, recollect anything connected to your data. Any suspicious acquaintances, letters, strange situations." I closed my eyes, trying to remember. "I submitted documents for renting an apartment months ago. The agent was new. I didn't verify him properly. And, a week ago, I received an email about participation in a study, but didn't open it. Maybe I clicked by accident." "What else?" She stared intently. "My former dorm mate, Mark Smith. He accused me of hacking an account. That was a lie. He got evicted afterward. Do you have any contacts for him?" "No, he vanished. The officer wrote something down. I'll check him out. Now, the key, you must not contact anyone except me or Lisa. If anyone reaches out, report immediately." I nodded, but then heard a heavy knock outside in the corridor. She turned off the light, motioned for silence. I held my breath. "They shouldn't have found us so fast," she whispered, pulling a pistol. Jack squeezed my shoulder. My insides froze. The knocking intensified. Then, the snap of a lock. The door began to open as 2 men burst in, dressed in black. One held what looked like a taser, the other, a small tablet displaying my photo. Alex Wood, the voice was emotionless. The officer leveled her gun, but the man with the tablet didn't flinch. "You're under arrest on suspicion of cybercrimes," he said. "And if you don't come with us willingly—" "Who are you?" The officer stepped forward. "We are not the police," he smiled. "But you can call me John." "You have no right to be here," the officer advanced, but John raised a hand. "We're not here for you." He looked at me. "Only for Alex." My knees went weak. "I won't go with you," I whispered. "Then we'll take you by force." John stepped in, but the officer fired a shot into the air, echoing through the warehouse. "One more step and I shoot." Her voice froze. The men halted. "You don't understand what you're tangled in," John said. "This isn't your game." "And you don't understand. I won't back down," she replied, gun unwavering. My head ached like it would split. "Alex," the man with the tablet spoke to me again, "you have one final chance. If you go with us now, you'll have the opportunity to clear your name. If not, next time we won't be so polite." I looked at him, trying to see if there was truth in his words. "Give me a minute." I took a step back, feeling the officer tense. "Quickly," John said. I turned to the officer and whispered, "What should I do?" "Don't trust them." Her eyes were stern. "They aren't police. They could be anyone." "But they have my data," I began, but a sound echoed in the corridor again. Someone climbed the stairs. Jack whispered, "We need to run." The officer nodded, swiftly moved to the window. "If needed, we escape via the roof," she barely breathed. I nodded, trying not to show fear. The lock splintered, the door began to open, and two black-clad men stormed back in. "It's us," Jack whispered. The officer gestured, "Roof." I climbed out first. Jack followed, the officer covering us. We sprinted across the flat roof, wind pounding our faces, the sound of pursuit behind. "This way." The officer pointed to a fire escape. We descended into a narrow alley. I heard someone shout, "They headed south. Block the district." The officer waved us to run. We darted through streets until we reached a tram stop. She quickly bought 3 tickets. We boarded, and only then did I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. "Who are they?" I stared at the officer. "A private organization," she whispered. "They work by contract. If they're interested in you, it's more serious than I thought." "But why me?" My vision blurred. "I didn't do anything illegal." "Someone set you up," she said, "and they did it very professionally." Jack remained silent, gripping my hand. "What now?" "Now we vanish for a few days," the officer looked at me. "I'll contact Lisa. She's the only one you can trust." The tram sped through the city as I stared out the window, trying to fathom how in just one night my wife turned into a bad movie. I remembered Mark Smith. "I need to find Mark," I said. "If someone could pull this off, it's him. I'm already checking him." She took out her phone, typed into a secure messenger. "But if he's involved, he won't act alone." My heart tightened. "And if it's not him, someone else?" "Then we'll keep looking," she said. "But for now, your safety comes first." The tram stopped. She gestured for us to get off. We walked several blocks until we reached an old hotel. She booked us under false names and handed me a new phone. "This is only to communicate with me or Lisa," she warned. I nodded, hands still shaky. "What if they find us here?" "They won't," she said confidently. I changed all the routes. We left no traces. I sank onto the bed, trying to collect my thoughts. "I need to think, remember everything that could be important." "I'll leave you for a few minutes," the officer said, exiting. Jack sat nearby, voice low. "Alex, are you sure you're not hiding something, even from yourself?" I looked at him. "I don't know. Maybe there was something, but I just don't remember." "Remember everything, even the smallest detail." Jack squeezed my shoulder. "It might save your life." I closed my eyes, trying to recall. Faces, events, fragments of conversations flashed before me. I remembered, months ago, I got a strange call with an offer to falsify documents for someone. I refused, didn't even listen to the rest. But who called? I didn't save the number. I opened my eyes, but at that moment, someone knocked on the door. Jack froze too. The door creaked open, and Lisa entered, serious, holding a laptop. "We're running out of time," she said. "I found something you need to see." She turned on the laptop, and I stared at the screen. There was correspondence from my old account, an account I never saw. Messages were as supposedly arranged selling data, hacking servers, discussing money transfers. That's not me. I felt ice inside. I know, said Lisa, but it looks extremely convincing. Someone created a flawless copy of your digital persona, and that's only the beginning. I stared at the screen, trying to understand how that could be possible. What do I do? There is only one way, she said. You must find the one who did this, and you have to do it faster than they find you. I felt my hands trembling. But how? I don't even know where to start. Start with Mark, Lisa said. I found his address, but you have to decide. Either we go to the police and risk you getting arrested, or we act on our own. I looked at Jack, at Lisa. My head was buzzing, my heart pounding, like it was about to burst out of my chest. But at that moment, noise in the hallway. The door began to open, slowly. I felt my breath catch. Lisa snapped her laptop shut. Jack jumped to his feet. In the doorway stood the officer, her face tense, eyes darting. Pack up, she whispered. They found us. We have 3 minutes, max. Who? I barely recognized my own voice. The same ones from the warehouse. They're already in the lobby. We're leaving through the fire exit. She gestured for Lisa and Jack to follow her. I grabbed my backpack. Lisa, her laptop. Jack was already at the door. We rushed into the hallway. The officer led us down a narrow service staircase. I heard someone shouting below. Then a crash, like someone breaking down a door. Faster! The officer pushed the door to the street. We ran out into the yard. A gray Tesla with tinted windows was waiting. The officer opened the door. We jumped inside. She immediately drove off. Headlights off. Can they see us? Lisa looked around, clutching her laptop. Not yet. The officer turned sharply into a narrow alley. But it's a matter of minutes. I felt my hands trembling. What now? Now we go to Mark, Lisa said. I tracked him through an old social media account. He's in the city, on the outskirts, near the old warehouses. It's a trap, Jack whispered. Maybe, the officer agreed, but we have no other choice. The car raced through the night streets. I stared out the window, trying to collect my thoughts. There's only one account. Why didn't he get in touch earlier? Because he's not acting alone, Lisa said. I found a few more accounts, linked to your name. They all lead to one group, Black Mirror. What's that? Jack asked. A hacker network, Lisa replied. They specialize in identity theft, money laundering, blackmail. They're wanted all over Europe. And now they want me? I felt fear tightening in my chest. They want you to disappear, the officer said. Because you're the perfect scapegoat. All the evidence points to you. The car stopped near an old warehouse. The officer turned off the engine, looked at us. We go on foot from here. Lisa, you're with me. Jack, stay with Alex. If anything goes wrong, run. We got out of the car. The air was cold. The outlines of buildings barely visible in the darkness. The officer and Lisa moved ahead. Jack and I stayed a little behind. Are you sure you want to do this? Jack whispered. I have no choice, I replied. If I don't find the truth, I'll either end up in jail or... I didn't finish. Suddenly, a spotlight flashed in the darkness. Someone turned on a floodlight. We were caught in a bright circle of light. Don't move! A voice boomed from a loudspeaker. The officer raised her hands. Lisa did too. I felt a chill run down my spine. It's them, Lisa whispered. 3 men in black stepped out of the shadows. One of them, tall, thin in a hood, held a tablet in his hands. He came closer, looked at me. Alex Wood. His voice was calm, almost indifferent. You finally came yourself. Where's Mark? I tried to keep my voice steady. Mark's here, the man smiled. But he's not the person you remember. I felt my knees trembling. What do you want from me? You're the key, he said. Your identity is the perfect mask for our operations. But you've become too visible. Now you have a choice. Either you help us, or—" He didn't finish. The officer stepped forward. "If you don't let him go, I'll call for backup." "You're not in a position to threaten." The man in the hood waved his hand. Two of his people grabbed the officer and Lisa. "Don't touch them!" I lunged forward. But Jack grabbed my arm. "Alex, don't do it," he whispered. "You have a choice." The man in the hood looked me in the eyes. "Either you log in and help us hack the servers, or your friends will disappear forever." I felt ice inside me. "I'm not a hacker. I can't do this." "We know you're not a hacker," the man smiled. "But your identity is already in all our schemes. If you don't help, you'll become the main suspect in a case that will shake all of Europe." I looked at Lisa, at the officer, at Jack. My head was buzzing, my heart pounding, like it would burst. But at that moment, another man stepped out of the darkness. I recognized him immediately. Mark. He looked different, thin, with a beard. His eyes, red, tired. "Alex." His voice was quiet, almost broken. "Don't listen to them. They destroyed my life. Don't let them destroy yours. You're alive." I took a step toward him. "Only technically." Mark smiled crookedly. "They used me, just like they're using you now." "Enough." The man in the hood waved his hand. Two of his people grabbed Mark. "Alex." Mark looked me in the eyes. "If you go with them now, you'll never come back." I felt my hands trembling. "What should I do?" "Choose." The man in the hood handed me the tablet. "Either you're with us, or—" I looked at the tablet, at my friends, at Mark. My head was buzzing, my heart pounding, like it would stop. I took a step forward, reached for the tablet, and at that moment, a siren blared. A sharp, piercing sound tore through the night. Everything froze for a moment. The man in the hood spun around. His people tensed. "What's that?" he hissed. "Police!" The officer took advantage of the confusion. Suddenly elbowed one of the guards in the stomach, drew her gun. "Everyone on the ground!" Lisa rushed to me. Jack grabbed Mark's hand. I felt someone grab my shoulder, but I managed to break free. "Run!" the officer shouted. We rushed for the exit from the warehouse. Shouts all around. Someone firing into the air. My legs were giving way, but I kept running, not looking back. "This way!" Lisa pointed to a narrow passage between containers. We slipped through, Jack and Mark behind us. The officer covered our retreat, firing into the air to scare off the pursuers. "Don't stop!" Her voice rang out like a command. I heard footsteps, shouts behind us, but I kept running. We burst out the other side of the warehouse. Several police cars with flashing lights were already waiting. "On the ground!" one of the officers shouted, aiming his weapon at us. "Don't shoot!" The officer raised her hands. "I'm Lieutenant Vandermeer, Amsterdam Police. All these people are witnesses." The police quickly surrounded us. One of them approached the officer, checked her ID. "Sorry, Lieutenant, we got an anonymous call about an armed gang." "It's not a gang," the officer pointed to the warehouse. "The real criminals are in there. They stole this guy's identity," she pointed at me, "and tried to make him take the blame for all their crimes." The police rushed into the warehouse. We were led to a car. My hands were trembling, my heart pounding, like it would burst out of my chest. "It's over," Jack whispered. "We're saved?" "Not yet." Lisa looked at me. "They won't stop. Their people are everywhere." A police officer approached me, his face serious. "Are you Alex Wood?" "Yes," I nodded. "You'll have to come with us to the station to give a statement. And be prepared. There's a case against you in 3 countries." "But I didn't do anything." I felt a chill down my spine. "The investigation will sort it out." The officer was relentless. "I'll go with him," the officer said, "and I request protection for him." "That's up to the leadership," the officer replied. I was put in a separate car. Lisa and Jack went in another. Mark was taken separately, his face empty. At the station, they put me in a small interrogation room. I sat at the table, trying to collect my thoughts. The door opened. An investigator came in, a young man in a suit, with a laptop in his hands. "Alex Wood," he sat across from me. "Do you understand the situation you're in?" "I'm a victim." I tried to keep my voice steady. "My identity was stolen." You'll have to prove that. The investigator opened the laptop, showed me the screen. Here's correspondence from your account. Here are bank transfers. Here's a video of you supposedly meeting with suspects. That's not me. I felt ice inside. It's a fake. Do you have an alibi for these dates? I tried to remember, but everything was a blur. I was at home with Jack. He can confirm. We'll check. The investigator wrote something down. But for now, you remain in custody. I need a lawyer. I barely recognized my own voice. You'll get one. The investigator stood up. And one more thing. If you remember anything important, let us know immediately. He left. The door closed. I was alone in the silence, trying not to panic. I remembered Mark's words. They destroyed my life. Don't let them destroy yours. I remembered Black Mirror. How easily they faked everything. Letters, videos, even bank transactions. The door opened again. Lisa came in, her face tense. I have a plan, she whispered, sitting across from me. I found a lead. One of the servers used for all the operations hasn't been destroyed yet. If we can get access, we can prove it wasn't you. How? I felt a glimmer of hope. I'm already working with the officer, but we need your permission and your memory. Remember everything connected to that server. Any passwords, addresses, even little things. I closed my eyes, trying to remember. Fragments flashed before me. An old letter with a strange address. A password I once made for a test project. The name of my childhood pet. Try Oscar 2012, I whispered. Lisa nodded, quickly typed something on her laptop. Got it! Her eyes lit up. I'm in. Here are access logs, IP addresses, even camera footage. This could save you, Alex. My hands were trembling. Can you give this to the police? I'm already doing it, Lisa smiled. But we have to act fast. If they find out we're inside, they'll destroy everything. At that moment, noise in the hallway. The door opened. The investigator came in, with 2 police officers. What's going on here? His voice was sharp. I found evidence Alex is innocent. Lisa raised her laptop. Here are the access logs. Here are the IP addresses. Here's the video. The investigator took the laptop, started looking through the files. His face changed. This could change everything. He looked up at me. But we need to verify this data. Check it. I felt hope rising in me. The investigator left with the laptop. The police officers stayed in the room. Lisa squeezed my hand. We're almost at the finish line. She whispered, but they won't give up easily. I nodded, feeling my hands tremble again. What if they try to destroy the evidence? I already made copies, Lisa smiled, and sent them to several independent media outlets. If anything happens to me or you, the truth will still come out. For the first time in a long while, I felt hope. But at that moment, noise in the hallway again. I realized nothing was over yet. The police officers in the room tensed. One of them got a message on his radio. He gave me a short, almost hostile look. Get up, he ordered. You're being transferred. Where? Lisa jumped up, her voice trembling. To another security level. The second officer replied dryly. Orders from above. I felt a chill down my spine. I have the right to a lawyer, I shouted. But they were already leading me out, gripping my arm tightly. Lisa! Don't let this go, I managed to whisper before the door closed. They led me down a long corridor. Then, downstairs, into a basement. It was dark, smelled of damp. One of the officers opened a heavy metal door, pushed me inside. Wait here, he said. Locked the door behind him. I was alone in the darkness. My heart was pounding, my mind racing. This isn't the police. It's them. They're already here. I tried to stay calm. But every minute felt like an eternity. I listened. Someone was talking on the phone behind the wall. The voice muffled, but I caught a few words. Double check, don't let him out, eliminate if there's a risk. My hands were trembling. I tried to find something in the dark that could help. A chair, a pipe, anything. But the room was empty, just a concrete floor and walls. Suddenly, the door opened. A man in civilian clothes stood in the doorway, his face in shadow. Alex, his voice was quiet but confident. We don't have much time. Who are you? I stepped back. I'm a friend of Lisa's. She sent me a signal. If you want to survive, come with me. I hesitated only a moment. I stepped into the corridor. The man quickly led me another way. Avoiding the main posts, we went up the stairs, through service rooms, finally reached a back exit. This way, the man opened the door. We stepped out into the yard. Lisa, the officer, and Jack were already waiting in the car. Alex! Lisa rushed to me, hugged me. I thought they wouldn't let you out. They tried. I could barely breathe. What now? We're going to the journalists, the officer said. We have copies of all the evidence. If the police won't protect you, society will. The car sped off. We raced through the night streets. I stared out the window, trying to understand if this was the end or just another turn. Are you sure you want this? Jack asked. If the truth comes out, you'll be famous all over the world. I don't want to be a hero. I looked at him. I just want my life back. You'll never go back to your old life, Lisa said quietly. But you can save others. We stopped at a large office center. The officer led us to the elevator, up to the top floor. There, in a spacious hall, several journalists were already waiting. Cameras, laptops, recorders. Are you ready? One of them asked. A young woman with short hair. I nodded, feeling my hands tremble. Tell your story, she said. Everything you know. I started talking. How I woke up that morning and realized I'd been erased. About the calls, the threats, about being hunted, about Black Mirror, about Mark. About how they tried to make me take the blame for someone else's crimes. The journalists listened carefully, writing down every word. Lisa showed them the evidence, correspondence, access logs, videos, IP addresses. The officer confirmed everything she could. This is a scandal, one of the journalists said. We'll publish it today. They won't stop, Lisa warned. Their people are everywhere. We know how to protect sources. The journalist replied, but you'd better disappear for a few days. We left the office, got back in the car. I felt hope rising in me, but also fear. What now? I asked. Now we wait, the officer said. If everything goes according to plan, tomorrow the whole country will be talking about you. And if not, Jack whispered. Then we'll keep fighting, Lisa replied. We stopped at a small hotel on the edge of the city. I lay down on the bed, still dressed. For the first time in many days, I slept without dreams. But I woke up to someone knocking on the door. I sat up, my heart pounding. Jack was already on his feet. Lisa grabbed her laptop. The officer gestured for everyone to be silent. The knocking repeated, more insistent this time. I went to the door, looked through the peephole, and saw a familiar face. It was Mark. He looked confused, scared, but alive. Open up, Jack whispered. He's our only chance to learn the truth. I opened the door. Mark came in, glancing around nervously. They're coming after me, he whispered. I know who's behind all this. But there's almost no time left. If you want to survive, listen carefully. And at that moment, a gunshot rang out in the hallway. The sound of the shot sliced through the air, like a blade. Mark fell to the floor, clutching his shoulder. Lisa rushed to him. The officer drew her gun, stood by the door. Jack clamped his hand over my mouth, to keep me from screaming. Everyone back, the officer whispered, but her voice was steel. Lisa, press the wound. Jack, help me with the window. I saw blood seeping through Mark's fingers, his face turning white as a sheet. They're here, he whispered. They won't stop. Hold on, Lisa tried to stop the bleeding. We need you alive. Jack had already opened the window. The officer looked outside. There's a fire escape, she said. Everyone, one at a time, quickly. I helped Lisa lift Mark. Jack went first, then me, Lisa and Mark last. We climbed down. Above us, shouts. Another shot. My legs were giving way, but I didn't stop. Outside, it was dark, only a few streetlights casting shadows on the asphalt. The officer gestured for us to run to a nearby alley. An abandoned truck was parked there. "This way!" She opened the door. We jumped inside, slammed the door behind us. "Mark, hold on," Lisa tried to stop the bleeding, her hands shaking. I know who it is." Mark could barely speak, but his eyes were clear. "Their leader isn't who you think. They're not just hackers. They're people from the police, from banks, even from the government. They use Black Mirror as a cover." "Can you name names?" The officer leaned over him. Mark trembled, his voice weak. "I have a flash drive. It's in my apartment, in a safe behind the bookshelf. All the evidence is there. The password is Evelyn 1993. We'll get it," Lisa promised. "Alex," Mark looked at me, his eyes full of pain and fear. "I'm sorry. I never wanted it to go this far. I thought I could outsmart them. But they're always one step ahead." "It's not your fault," I squeezed his hand. "We'll stop them." Mark closed his eyes, his breathing shallow. Lisa checked his pulse, her face even paler. "He needs a doctor," she whispered. "But if we go to the hospital now, they'll find us." "I know someone," the officer took out her phone. "Dial the short number. He's a doctor. We can trust him." While we waited, I felt panic rising inside me. Everything that was happening felt unreal. Gunshots, chases, betrayal. I looked at Lisa, at Jack, at the officer. They all looked exhausted, but determined. "We need to get that flash drive," Lisa said. "It's our only chance." "I'll go with you," Jack said. "Alex, you stay here with Mark." "No," I shook my head. "I'm going with you. This is my story, and I have to finish it." The officer nodded. "All right. I'll stay here with Mark and the doctor. You, go for the flash drive, but be careful. If they already know Mark is alive, they might be waiting for you at his apartment." We agreed on the plan. Lisa, Jack, and I would go to Mark's apartment. The officer would stay with him and the doctor. I felt fear and determination battling inside me. A few minutes later, an old Volvo pulled up to the truck. A man in a medical coat got out, quickly examined Mark, gave him an injection. "He'll hold on," the doctor said, "but he needs a hospital." "Thank you," the officer squeezed his hand. "We'll settle up." Lisa, Jack, and I got out of the truck, got into the Volvo, headed to Mark's apartment. The drive was tense. Every turn felt like a trap. "Do you remember where the safe is?" Lisa asked. Yes, I remembered how Mark once bragged about his security system. "Behind the bookshelf, in the bedroom." "Good," Lisa checked her laptop. "I'm monitoring the cameras in the area. So far, it's clear." We stalked by the old building, climbed the stairs to the third floor. Mark's apartment door was locked, but Jack quickly picked the lock. "Go in," he whispered. The apartment was dark and quiet. I went into the bedroom, moved the bookshelf. Behind it was a small safe. I entered the password, Evelyn 1993. The safe clicked. The door opened. Inside there was a small black flash drive. I took it. My hands were trembling. "Yes," I whispered. "Back, quickly." Lisa was already at the door. But at that moment, noise in the hallway. Someone was coming up the stairs. Heavy footsteps. Voices. "They're here," Jack whispered. "The window!" Lisa rushed to the balcony. We jumped onto the balcony, climbed down the fire escape, into the yard. I heard the door breaking in the apartment. Someone shouted, "They took the flash drive! Catch them!" We ran across the yard, in the darkness, clutching the flash drive, like our last hope. My heart was pounding. Every step could be the last. We jumped into the Volvo. Lisa started the engine. We sped off. Behind us, shouts, dogs barking. "Hold on, Alex," Lisa said. "Now we have everything to destroy their system." I looked at the flash drive in my hand. I understood. This is my chance to get my life back. But will we make it before they find us first? We raced through the night streets, headlights off, not stopping at red lights. Lisa kept glancing in the rearview mirror. Jack squeezed my shoulder. I didn't let go of the flash drive. as if it was the only thing keeping me in reality. "Where now?" Jack whispered. "To the officer," Lisa replied. "She knows how to send this data so it can't be intercepted." What if they're already watching us? I couldn't shake the feeling that every turn was a trap. "They are watching," Lisa glanced at me. "But we have the advantage. We know what they want, and now we have it." We stopped on the edge of the city, near an old warehouse. The officer was waiting. She stood by the car, phone in one hand, something like a portable scanner in the other. "Quickly," she said as we ran up. "Give me the flash drive." I handed her the flash drive. She immediately plugged it into her laptop, turned on the scanner. "They're already trying to break the signal," she muttered. "We have a minute, no more." Lisa sat next to her, started typing commands on the keyboard. Lines of code flashed on the screen. Windows opened and closed. "It's all here," she whispered. "Lists of names, accounts, even video from meetings. They really are connected to the police, banks, government officials." "Send everything," the officer nodded. "To all the channels we prepared." Lisa pressed enter. The data started sending. Dozens of addresses. Journalists, human rights defenders, international organizations. "Done," she said. "Now it can't be stopped." For the first time in all this time, I felt real hope. But the officer didn't relax. "They won't stop," she said. "The hunt begins now. We have to disappear." "Where?" Jack asked. "I have a safe house outside the city." The officer was already starting the car. "We'll wait there until things calm down." We got in the car. She drove off. I looked out the window, trying to understand. Is this the end or just a new turn? And Mark? I suddenly remembered him. Did he survive? "The doctor says yes," the officer replied. "He was moved to a safe place. He's under protection." "He risked everything," I whispered. "He made the right choice," Lisa said. "So did you." We drove in silence, each of us lost in our thoughts. I remembered everything that happened these days. Fear, running, betrayal, unexpected support. I realized I would never be the same Alex I was before. The safe house turned out to be an old cottage in the woods. Inside, warm, cozy. But we all stayed tense. The officer checked all the windows and doors. Lisa set up her laptop to receive news. "Now we wait," she said. "If it works, tomorrow the whole world will be talking about this." I sat by the window, looked at the dark forest, thought about how easy it is to lose everything, your name, your friends, even yourself. "Are you okay?" Lisa sat next to me. "I don't know," I shrugged. "I feel like I'm living in someone else's dream." "This is your reality," she took my hand, "and you changed it. What if they find us?" I couldn't shake the fear. "Then we'll be together," Lisa smiled, "and we're not alone." At night, I couldn't sleep. I heard the officer walking around the house, Jack quietly talking to someone on the phone. I thought about Mark, how easy it is to become a victim, without even knowing it. At dawn, Lisa woke me up, her eyes shining with excitement. "Turn on the news," she whispered. I got up, went to the laptop. On the screen, breaking news. In Europe, a massive cybercriminal network has been exposed. Among the suspects, high-ranking officials, bankers, police officers. The main witness, Alex Wood, victim of identity theft. I felt tears welling up. "Is it true?" I looked at Lisa. "You did it," she hugged me. "You saved not just yourself." The officer came into the room, her face serious, but pride shone in her eyes. "You've become a symbol, Alex," she said. "You're not just a victim now. You're a hero." I sat on the floor. Relief, fear, and something new, hope. But at that moment, someone knocked at the door. Everyone froze. The officer gestured for silence, went to the door, looked through the peephole. "It's the police," she whispered, "but I'm not sure we can trust them." I felt my back go cold again. "What do we do?" "Decide together," Lisa said. "We're a team now." I looked at my friends. Understood. Even if this is just the beginning, I'm not alone anymore. But someone kept knocking. Each knock echoed in my chest. The officer gestured for everyone to move deeper into the room. She stayed by the door. "Who are you?" Her voice was firm, but quiet. "Amsterdam Police," came the reply. "We're here to ensure your safety. Please open up." The officer glanced at us, then opened the door, just enough to see their faces. Two in uniform stood on the threshold. One held documents. "Show your ID." The officer didn't back down. The police handed their documents through the gap. She studied them carefully, finally opened the door wider. "We've been ordered to move you to a safe place," the older one said. "Your location is known. There's a risk of a new attack. Who else knows we're here?" The officer kept her hand on her gun. "The information leaked through journalists," the policeman replied. "Your name, Alex, is already in all the news. You've become a symbol of the fight against cybercrime. But that's attracted not only friends." I felt my heart clench. "Can we trust you?" I asked. The policeman looked me straight in the eye. "I know what you've been through. My sister was also a victim of identity theft. I'm here to help." The officer nodded, but didn't lower her weapon. "We're all going together. If anything goes wrong, I'll shoot." "Of course," the policeman smiled. "We don't have time." We quickly packed our things, got into the police car. I sat between Lisa and Jack, the officer next to the driver. The car drove off. I felt the tension ease a little. "Where are we going?" Jack asked. "To the International Witness Protection Center," the policeman replied. "You'll be under supervision while the investigation continues." I looked out the window, trying to understand, is this the end or just a new beginning? "And Mark?" I couldn't stop thinking about him. "He's safe," the second policeman replied. "His testimony already helped arrest several suspects." "And Black Mirror," Lisa squeezed my hand. "Their network is falling apart," the driver said. "But it's just the tip of the iceberg. Thousands of people around the world have been victims. You're the first who not only survived, but fought back." I felt pride and fear mix inside me. "I'm not a hero," I whispered. "I just wanted my life back." "That's exactly why you became a hero," Lisa said quietly. The car stopped by a large modern building. Inside, bright, spacious, smelled of coffee and fresh pastries. We were led to a small office. Several people in civilian clothes were already waiting. "Alex Wood," a middle-aged woman with kind eyes addressed me. "I'm the Witness Protection Program Coordinator. You're safe here, but we need you to give an official statement for the International Investigation Team." I nodded. My hands were trembling. "I'm ready." "Your friends can be present," she added. "It will help you feel more confident." I looked at Lisa, at Jack, at the officer. They all nodded. "I'll tell everything," I said, "from the very beginning." I spoke for a long time, didn't skip a single detail. How I woke up that morning, the calls, the threats, the escapes, Mark, Black Mirror, the flash drive, how we saved each other. I saw the investigators writing down every word. The coordinator nodded. Lisa squeezed my hand. "You're very brave, Alex," she said when I finished. "Thanks to you, we can save many more people." "I just didn't want anyone else to go through what I did," I replied. "You're not alone," the coordinator said. "Now you have a team." For the first time in a long time, I felt real peace. But at that moment, someone knocked at the door. "Alex," a policeman entered. "We have news for you." I stood up, my heart pounding. "What happened?" "You're free," he smiled. "Your innocence is officially proven. All charges dropped. You can start a new life." I felt tears welling up. Lisa hugged me. Jack squeezed my shoulder. The officer smiled. "You did it," Lisa whispered. "You got your name back." I sat down, couldn't believe it was true. But at that moment I realized, even if this is just the beginning, I'm not alone anymore. And when the coordinator asked, "What do you want to do next?" I looked at my friends, answered honestly, "I don't know." I never thought I'd have to start from scratch, and at the same time, with such support. I looked at Lisa, at Jack, at the officer. They all waited for my answer, and suddenly I felt, I'm not afraid of the future. "I want to live," I said, "just live, and help others who are trapped like I was." The coordinator smiled. "That's the best thing you can do." We'll help you with new documents, a job, a place to live. But most importantly, you're not alone anymore. I left the building, felt the sun on my face for the first time in many days. Lisa took my hand. Jack hugged my shoulders. The officer nodded with respect. "What now?" Jack asked. "Now, a new life," I replied. We sat in a small cafe on the corner, ordered coffee and croissants. I looked at the people around. Someone was laughing, someone was in a hurry, someone just sitting with a phone. I suddenly realized I cherish every moment, every breath, every glance from my friends. "You're famous now," Lisa showed me the news on her phone. "They call you the voice of a new era of cybersecurity." "I'm not a hero," I smiled. "I just survived." "That's exactly why you became a hero," the officer said. We sat in silence for a long time, each of us thinking our own thoughts. I remembered everything that happened. Fear, running, betrayal, unexpected support. I realized, even in the darkest moments, there's room for light. If you have those who won't betray you. A few days later, I got new documents, a new passport, a new address, but most importantly, I found new meaning. I started working with organizations that help victims of cybercrime. I spoke at conferences, wrote articles, helped people who lost everything to someone else's greed and indifference. Mark survived. He recovered for a long time, but one day he wrote me a letter. "Thank you for not giving up. You saved not just yourself, but me too. If I can ever help, just say the word." Jack went back to his life, but we stayed friends. Lisa became more than just a friend. Together, we opened a small digital security agency. The officer got a promotion. She was always in touch if anything happened. A year passed. I stood on stage at a big conference in Berlin, looked at hundreds of people in the hall, told my story. I saw fear, hope, gratitude in their eyes. I knew any of them could be the next victim. But now, they have a chance. "Don't be afraid to ask for help," I said at the end. "Don't be afraid to fight for yourself. And remember, even if you think you're alone, you're not. There will always be someone who will reach out a hand." After the speech, a girl came up to me, her eyes full of tears. "You saved me," she said. "I was a victim too. Thanks to you, I didn't give up." I hugged her, felt faith in people return. In the evening, Lisa and I sat on the roof of our office, looked at the city lights. "Are you happy?" she asked. "Yes," I replied. "I'm happy and grateful." She smiled, leaned against me. "You know your story is already a legend? The main thing is that it's a warning." I hugged her. "And hope." I looked at the stars, thought, I went through hell, but found myself. I lost everything, but found true friends. I was a victim, but became someone who can help others. And if you're reading this story, remember, even in the darkest moment, there's a way out. Just don't give up.